Blue paint, gold wheels, turbo noises echoing through a forest road. By the early 2000s, the Subaru WRX STI had already become something special, not because it was luxurious, not because it was refined, but because it felt raw. This was a car built with rally racing in its DNA, and somehow, Subaru managed to bring that feeling to normal roads. This is the Subaru WRX STI 2004. In this video, we're looking at why the 2004 STI became one of the most iconic performance cars of its generation. From Subaru's rally dominance to the way this car actually felt to drive, the STI created a fan base that still exists today. And even now, more than 20 years later, many enthusiasts still believe this was peak Subaru. To understand the STI, you first have to understand Subaru's history in rally racing. During the 1990s, Subaru became one of the biggest names in the World Rally Championship. While other manufacturers focused on rear-wheel drive platforms, Subaru leaned heavily into turbocharging and all-wheel drive. And on gravel, snow, and mud, that setup worked incredibly well. The cars looked aggressive. They sounded aggressive. And drivers like Colin McRae helped turn Subaru into a global rally icon. But what made Subaru different was how much of that rally feeling made its way into their road cars. The STI didn't just look inspired by motorsport, it actually felt like it. By 2004, Subaru already had a loyal following, but the WRX STI pushed things even further. Under the hood was a turbocharged flat-4 engine producing around 300 horsepower.
A big turbo flat 4 with the big turbo and 300 horsepower, which was a really strong figure then and still is today for a car this size.
Power went through a 6-speed manual transmission and Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive system. And unlike many modern performance cars, the STI didn't try to isolate the driver from the experience. Everything felt mechanical. The steering had weight. The gearbox felt physical. And once the turbo kicked in, the entire car came alive.
It's great, this thing. It's geared nice and short too, so you can get to enjoy that gearbox a little more than you might with the equivalent 911. And it is finding quite a bit of grip, I have to say.
You weren't just driving the STI. You were constantly interacting with it. The Boxer engine became one of the STI's defining features, because the engine sat lower in the chassis.
Now, that power is supplied by the EJ257 engine, which is a 2.5-liter turbocharged flat 4-cylinder boxer motor, and it produces 300 horsepower and 300 foot-pounds of torque.
The car benefited from a lower center of gravity and better balance through corners. But the real personality came from the turbocharger. Below boost, the STI could feel relatively calm. Then suddenly, the turbo came alive. And when it did, The car delivered this aggressive wave of mid-range power that made the entire driving experience feel exciting. Combined with Subaru's all-wheel drive system, the STI generated insane levels of grip in almost any condition. Rain, snow, cold pavement, loose gravel. The car always felt confident. But what really made people fall in love with the STI was the driving experience itself. This wasn't a soft daily driver pretending to be sporty. The suspension was stiff, the clutch felt heavy, road noise constantly entered the cabin, and honestly, that became part of the appeal. The STI demanded attention. It punished lazy driving, but it rewarded commitment. Every input felt connected to the car.
The STI has DCCD, which is a driver-controlled center differential that's controlled by two buttons. One button presses you into manual mode, and the other button is a scroll wheel that lets you scroll through 65% power to the rear wheels or a full all-wheel drive lock.
And that raw mechanical feeling is exactly what many modern performance cars are starting to lose. Outside of rallying, the STI exploded into mainstream car culture. By the mid-2000s, these cars were everywhere. Street builds, track days, online forums, video games. Early YouTube car videos. The STI became one of the defining enthusiast cars of an entire generation, and even people who weren't hardcore car enthusiasts recognized the formula instantly. Blue paint, gold wheels, huge rear wing. The car developed an identity that became impossible to ignore. For many enthusiasts, the 2004 STI represents peak Subaru. Before oversized screens, before artificial engine sounds, before driver aids started filtering every sensation away from the driver, the STI felt honest. It wasn't perfect. The interior quality was average. Fuel economy wasn't great.
This interior is incredible, a true time capsule, just as well preserved as the unblemished exterior engine bay. This is incredible to behold, just how nice and clean it is. There's no scrapes, there's no scuffs, there's no damage anywhere. I'm kind of scared to even sit in here, just how pristine and original this is.
And reliability became questionable once people started heavily modifying them.
Recognizable shape and silhouette. Everywhere you go, people just resonate with the beauty of this.
But none of that really mattered, because the emotional connection the car created was stronger than its flaws. As emissions regulations became stricter and the automotive industry moved toward electrification, cars like the STI slowly started disappearing.
22% of all car sales must be electric this year, jumping to 28% towards the end of 2025. By 2030, we're looking at about 80%. And you know what? The industry is already responding.
Performance became more digital, more refined, more isolated, and eventually, Subaru ended STI production completely. For many enthusiasts, it felt like the end of a specific era of performance cars, an era where driver involvement mattered more than perfect numbers on paper. The Subaru WRX STI 2004 was never designed to be subtle. It was loud, mechanical, unforgiving at times, but that's exactly what made it special. More than 20 years later, the STI still represents something many modern cars no longer offer: a raw connection between driver and machine.